Welcome to episode 4 of Literally Nothing Better to Do. I am Lenore, accompanied by my good friends Erika and Dominic, who I was hoping would introduce themselves.
No, I was going to introduce myself. You cut me off, girl.
I'm sorry. Alright, let's do this. Erika?
Yes. Hello, my name is Erika, and I am burnt out from this week because...
Literally.
We'll get to that later.
We are all literally burnt out.
Oh, I am, yes. California is burned out, and so am I. Welcome to episode 4, End of Days, Biblical Raptures, Everyday Chaos, and the ASOIAF Apocalypse.
A Song of Ice and Fire, by the way. Okay. I say ASOIAF, but I'm in the minority because I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, so let's see. It's been a wild week. Is this a picture of a fire tornado? Yeah, we've had fire tornadoes here in California, mostly in Northern California, up near Napa Valley, and a few by Lake Tahoe. We luckily live in Southern California, but we still have fires here too.
I'll let you. I'm sorry. I'll let you do this, teacher.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna respond.
No, we gotta get better at this.
Okay.
Sorry, because our brains are literally burnt out. Oh gosh, all the puns.
Okay, so they're all physically.
I would like to make a proposal about fire tornadoes. I feel like we need to start calling them furnadoes. Now, furnadoes, not as in a bunch of
furries.
You know, a bunch of cats. Yes.
No. So they're actual furries that sweep around you in a. No, it's not like a furry orgy or something.
To be the sequel to Sharknado would have been Furnado.
Okay, so wait, is that a tornado that shoots cats at you? No, that'd be a catnado.
Yeah, that would be a catnado, but Furnado is basically all mammals just whipped up in a tornado.
Do all mammals have fur?
Mm-hmm.
What about humans? Humans don't have fur.
Enough to.
Okay. I'm looking at that naked mole rat out there. It's like, I don't have fur. I'm not getting caught in this tornado.
It's got whiskers.
It's got whiskers? Oh, okay, but that's not enough for fur.
You need straight-on Bigfoot pelts.
Yes! You need to wear, those big-ass pelts. I want to see bears just shoot bears at you. This is going to be in Yosemite, by the way. This Furnado. It's got to be set in Yosemite, because it's got to have bears, it's got to have mooses, it's got to have wolves. I don't even know if most of those animals are actually there. Okay, the plural of moose is still moose.
They got wolves too.
Oh, see, that was my mistake, because I think Yosemite doesn't have any of those things anymore except the bears. Yeah, so Yellowstone. It's got, but I thought the location was going to be in California, since this is where the fire tornadoes are coming out.
Yeah, but you said for.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, Yellowstone.
You're gonna fine.
Honestly, anything could happen nowadays because we have freaking tornadoes. Nobody imagined tornadoes in California. Nobody imagined tornadoes in California.
You know, as someone who studied severe weather, I know that tornadoes have actually been documented in every state.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna advocate that for the furnadoes, that we all pronounce it no longer as fire tornadoes, but furnadoes, and we have to say them in this accent, in our best furnadish accent, because I feel like that's
as an accredited environmental scientist, I do not condone this at all. But all right, let's keep going.
I don't want to keep going. I want to keep talking about furnadoes. When I first heard about furnadoes, by the way, did you guys? Did I introduce you to furnadoes, or did you find out about furnadoes on your own this week?
I've known about them for years.
You've known about? Oh wait, you studied.
I'm the one here with an environmental science degree. I know my severe weather.
Yeah, I only studied biology. I had no idea about furnadoes.
I specialize in GIS stuff. Why am I saying GIS stuff? So yeah, it's just that it's just stuff I already listened to and studied about, but I never found it as interesting. I found fires kind of boring.
And now look what we're dealing with.
I'm like, well, we live in California. We
right, Lenore?
Right.
This is our severe weather. We live in California, so we have seasonal fires. We have a fire season, an entire month dedicated to fires. You do. It's called October, and it's supposed to be. I think it's October and before November, but it's extended itself from August all the way to November. So this is how long our fire season has been going the past couple years. Usually, it's only like September, October, something like that. So yeah, we're having way more fires.
I saw Twitter and I saw fire tornado and I clicked on it and I'm like, as a Californian, I don't have to worry about a tornado, so this probably doesn't relate to me, but I just want to stay informed as to
this was by Lake Tahoe.
Ongoing apocalypse.
No, we were having a fire tornado by Lake Tahoe.
And that is what I found out. I clicked the link, and it's like fire tornado, California, and I said I didn't think I had to even worry about a normal tornado, and I have one that's on fire.
Yeah, so for me, I'm not going to lie to you, when I found out that fire tornadoes actually exist, one, that a tornado can exist in California, two, that it is on fire, I got a little excited. Like, I started salivating, and I know it's kind of sick. I know that I'm a really disturbed individual, that this kind of really excited me. But you know what? I've never heard of such destruction before. And I was
okay.
Like, welcome
to knowledge I've known I've had it for at least like 6 years. Yeah, fire tornadoes are a thing.
So in the continued horror movie, that is the year 2020. It's changed directors a few times. I think we're officially in where we're handing it off to the director who can probably do the most damage, Michael Bay.
No, you're wrong. It's George Cameron. It's George Cameron.
No, I think it's Michael Bay. I think the next thing we need is some alien robots.
That's George Cameron.
You mean James Cameron?
Wait, what? It's James Cameron. Oh my God! What am I thinking?
James Cameron is going to
James Cameron.
Us.
James Cameron is not going to save us. We have a low bar already. We're having a horrible year, right?
Yeah,
so this is the climax. Yeah, exactly. His job is to raise the bar. He is in charge of the climax. He's getting us to the lowest of lows so we can bring it to the highest of highs. Because the last couple of years have been Michael Bay, and Michael Bay time is over.
We have a fire tornado. You're saying Michael Bay isn't behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think he's smart. I don't think he's smart enough to make a fire tornado.
Oh,
he's not smart enough to make a furnado.
You're just combining two crazy things. That's his entire movie career.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just wind that gets caught in a what is it? Pyroclastic. You know what?
Oh, which is
it's weird. Fire can cause more fires. It's weird.
We're probably gonna make another reference to Michael Bay. He's not leaving us alone. He's gonna come back in November when we get back to our special American our special America episode. Because he did an amazing commercial that involved what we were talking about last week. That's gonna get brought up come November. Before they just gave him a budget and said, "Do whatever you want with Hasbro."
Ooh, all right, I don't remember most of my directors, but who was the one who directed Endgame?
That's the I want to say that's the Russo brothers.
All right, they also did I don't remember the name of the one before it.
They did both. They did both.
All right.
And Infinity War.
All right,
They've been doing God's work.
Thanos is my guy. All right, Thanos is my guy because I support him wholeheartedly in Infinity Wars.
I was into Infinity Wars. I feel like
I don't know Infinity War. All right, so my knowledge of movies is not the best. I don't watch movies all that often.
Okay.
That's fair.
But I have an Avengers. I'm gonna see Endgame, and they gave me a poster. Now it's still in front of my desk. Because I'm like, you know what, free poster, why not?
So you just have the great Thanos just looking down at you whenever you're like doing these, and he's like, "All right, Lenny, kill half of them."
You know, he's an environmentalist. I support him. I support him. He's an environmentalist. He understands the problem of he understands economics. Okay, he understands the economics of natural resources better than anyone I have seen in any movie. So I support Thanos.
No, I'm gonna call BS because he literally had something where he snapped half the people away. Why didn't he snap half the material into existence? I don't get it. There's a freaking reality stone. He could have doubled everything.
Oh, it's because he already. It's something that I always love talking
people
about.
We're using more Earths than we're reading.
He did my favorite thing that everybody who ever goes down a path and they reach a conclusion and then they have the opportunity to reach a better conclusion and it's presented to them, you just double down. He had the Infinity Gauntlet and could have made infinity resources, but he's like, no,
people get too...
I have gone literally every day since my planet was destroyed with the belief that as long as half of sentient life is wiped out, the other half will prosper. I have obliterated planets, colonies.
Yeah.
I have waged wars over this, and you're telling me that I can just make infinite resources? No,
yeah, but that's like that's a utopian idea. People will just make more resources and continue to consume and continue to consume and continue to consume. You gotta give them a lesson, and that's why the snap was necessary.
Okay, and then here's another thing. Those movies, so Infinity Wars versus Endgame, I would have been perfectly happy if the whole Marvel series ended at Infinity Wars because I am a sick asshole. Because I too feel like people just need to die. People cannot handle being responsible over their resources, so they need to die. I feel
go ahead, we'll go for it. Sorry, I was interrupting.
Yeah, so I feel like when I was watching Endgame, I'm like, dude, these are like whiny babies that haven't learned their lesson. Like they're just like, oh, it's so sad. All these people died. And I'm like, dude, all those people, like there was going to be a mass extinction headed Earth's way anyways because you guys are being incredibly irresponsible with resources.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's but to go off on that, it's a hot take on the Marvel series. I think that Infinity War / Endgame should have ended the series, but on a much darker note. And we could have just restarted the Marvel Cinematic Universe and created new stories with other characters that we hadn't seen yet. And instead, we're just kind of continuing the same continuity that we already have, and it's creating an even bigger. It's creating an even bigger machine, like because that's always been the problem with like getting into Marvel movies. It's because they're so self-referential. Some people are just like, well, I don't want to get into it because it's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff that's already happened. I don't want to just start off somewhere. So I'm like, I think if you actually did go with Endgame and like in the comics, because different universes exist in the comics, why can't the MCU just be a continuous thing that people do? Which is why I like what DC is doing, where they're just like, no, there is no overarching continuity. We're just we're cranking out these stories. And it's like we got the Batman, we got the Dark Knight trilogy, which they're like kind of acknowledging, and it's like that stuff happens over there. We got Justice League and Wonder Woman and all of that failure of them trying to like go 0 to 120.
So Christopher Nolan should be in charge of next year, right? So we're saying Christopher Nolan should be in charge of next year.
Yeah, with Super Rebellion Joker, where he has broken tattooed on his forehead.
Watch that.
And then they're just like, yo, Joker movie. And it has absolutely nothing to do with anything else we're doing. They're like Robert Pattinson movie, and they're kind of being slick about it, but they're like, it has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the DC movies. New Suicide Squad movie, yeah, we're keeping Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, but it's its own thing. They're just going like, look, we have comic book movies that have loose continuity and canon. We're just throwing stories at the wall, and if you
can I throw these stories at fire tornadoes?
Yeah,
I just want to make these fire tornadoes even bigger.
Yeah, we went real far with fire tornadoes.
I want to burn everything. Kindling. You know what? Since I can't use these fire tornadoes to like make marshmallow like s'mores or anything, man, then can I just throw bad plants?
You could get the Michelin Man and have the biggest roast ever.
But the Michelin Man is made out of tires.
No. Yeah,
That's a
Stay
lie.
Puft Man. Yeah, I don't want the. You don't want the Michelin Man.
I don't want the
That's
Michelin.
gonna be
Yeah.
That's gonna be. Have you smelled a burning tire?
It's absolutely
Tire
terrible.
fires don't end. Tire fires don't end. They're gonna keep going.
Don't add
Now,
more air
the
pollution,
Stay Puft
Erika.
Man-
Don't add. Yeah, thank
now,
you.
Stay Puft Man. Yeah, we're going with Stay Puft Man.
Stay
We're going
Puft
with,
Man, yeah.
We need
Pillsbury Doughboy.
No, but then we have burnt bread though.
Yeah.
I don't want burnt bread.
Oh, yeah, he is a doughboy. But yeah, Stay Puft Man, he'll just explode. Stay Puft Man, he'll explode.
All right. Yeah, from Kyosin, that big marshmallow dude from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Stay Puft Man.
Yeah. See, my referential
which
knowledge is
an
not very
apocalypse
big.
Scenario on its own.
Yeah.
That's an apocalypse on its own.
All right, no,
that's
keep
what
your apocalypse.
2020 needs. We just need Gozer the Destroyer to frickin' just open a portal into our world.
Dominic, I want you to hold up for a bit. I want you to keep your apocalypse ideas for a while, because it's gonna be very useful in another section. Trust me. All right, so let's talk about this week. We've broken a few records
At Furnace Creek.
in Death Valley, the highest recorded and proven record in history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 130 degrees.
We got the deets to back it up.
We got the deets. We got it at a specific research facility here in Death Valley, California. So, since 1931, it's only going to get harder from here. How fast? How bad can we get it? How big can it go? All right. Here's another picture
Can I
of
be
fire.
real with you?
Yeah.
It doesn't get me as hot as fire tornadoes. It just doesn't.
All right.
I
just wanted to.
Fire tornadoes. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on. The idea of fire tornado
really
just sounds very hot.
I do. You know what? No, I've seen enough of it. We're gonna keep moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, I borrowed this photo.
To be fair, this and fire tornadoes literally just go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They go right hand in hand. Global warming climate change is destroying us all.
I regret not changing.
And fire tornadoes
Yeah.
is it's the definitive wake up call that people need, along with the hottest record temperature. But there's still going to be people out there saying it's nonsense. But this is oh jeez.
Well,
It's all a
if it
hoax.
makes you feel
Climate
any
change is a
better,
hoax.
The next generation science standards, we do teach climate change, and they even teach it as early as elementary school too.
I mean, we teach evolution in schools too, but look at what happens with that. You can only help so much stupid before people decide to just say, "I'm going to be ignorant."
We're gonna talk about school
Texas.
standards
They're
later.
really weird. They do all the testing on educational standards in Texas. That's why a lot of textbooks and even our calculators come from Texas.
Texas
wasn't I the
Instruments.
person who told you?
That's why we have such glorious
we have to look
lines
at
in children's history books. That,
Dominic, you have to
the
look at.
Native
It's not
Americans
just
simply
that.
had so much land, they didn't know what to do with it, so they just gave it to the filthy colonizers.
What?
Where have you read this?
It's like in a second grade history book. It makes the rounds for like memes.
Is this in Oklahoma?
Things like that for Twitter from time to time. But yeah, it's just stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, like they have like I mean, to be fair, it's second graders. You're trying
Kansas?
to like water down and make history something compatible with them.
Oh, it's just they don't want to show the ugliness of our
ancestors
history.
Were filthy. My ancestors. Maybe I don't know.
No, Erika is too. Erika's is too. I'm the only one here who can't say that I have American.
Just pop the balloon on things like that, because you gotta teach kids early.
You're not popping the balloon. They already know a lot of bad things. Like
We live in the information age. Please stop trying to change history.
Yeah.
Stop trying to change history. We live in the information age. Just be honest with these kids and tell them that our country is built on lies, blood, and tears.
Well, a lot of things. Well, you don't have to straight up put it that way, but you could say, hey, there were some bad people that did some bad things, and they still have effects today.
Yes.
But what can we do to make it better? And then it makes them feel all good inside, right? Because they're like, you know what? I'm going to think about ways to make things better. Yeah, and the thing is, they're not necessary, and you can be honest with them and say, hey, you're young and you're not going to be able to do much, but when you get older, you're going to be prepared to do much, and it's going to make them feel so good. Those kids are going to feel so good.
They're like, I already knew.
And that's why you're a teacher and I'm not.
Yeah, but I mean, like, because I used to second grade was really tough for me. I did I used to be a traveling science teacher, and they had me go to a second grade classroom. Oh my God bless any teacher that teaches 7 years old and under, because those kids are just. I was getting distracted.
I've got some good news.
Like, I was just like, am I the one who has ADHD right now? Because I'm getting really distracted. Yeah.
I've got some good news.
Third grade's okay though. I can do third grade enough.
You guys have some good. I surprisingly have some good news right now.
I'm just posting that little snippet of that image,
Mm-hmm.
from that history book. I'm just sending that to you right now.
All right.
It's in the disc. It's in our little
in our Discord
call
chat
right now.
All right, so
Jesus.
wow.
Oh no.
It's like, oh yeah.
Guys, I have some good news. Guys, stop.
Okay, so
I genuinely have some good news.
Mind or what?
Okay, I should just stop.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, is my
That's what
is my
I've
audio
been
even
thinking
working?
this, like, I didn't come to that conclusion when I was 9. When I was 9, I was just like, why in the heck would she help these people out? Like, they did so many terrible things, because a fourth grade teacher kept it real. You know.
I've got one word for you of why she did it. Guns.
And ships.
Yeah. Oh man.
Nothing. I'm wondering if does my mic even work?
Or maybe she was a negotiator and she was like, okay, I've seen how bad they can make things, so I'm going to just coax these people into doing what's going to be.
Dude, that'd be a good idea for a play.
Maybe she was trying to
just have Sacagawea having to deal with Lewis and Clark.
It does boil down to guns.
Like an ultimate play of just Sacagawea dealing with Lewis and Clark.
Mm-hmm. And now our country's on fire.
Does my mic even work?
I think the smoke is spreading out 600 miles.
The mic does not work.
Yeah, the smoke is absolutely awful. The heat's awful. The smoke's awful. It's been messing up my grandma this week. I got a call at work that my grandma was calling people, and she was going like, "Oh, I can't breathe. It's hot." When we checked in on her, she had like a big fleece blanket on, and she hadn't drinking any water. And we were like, "Oh, come on!" But it's still, it's still really hot. The smoke is definitely getting people. It's messing up how everybody's breathing. And you can literally just like taste it in the air around here. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Susan, won't you cry for me?
And that's why and what makes it worse is that school is starting this week, but we're gonna talk about that later. Let's go ahead and move on.
Next step, pandemic.
The pandemic.
Or actually, I actually did have
no
something
the pandemic, but the fundemic, and phase 3 will be the pan-am-demic. Yes.
Oh my god.
Current events. Lenny, you want to kick us off?
All right. So current events. Our continued plague. Wait, do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Because we just got back. We just got back from my server got cut, and no one could hear me. So now I'm like, wait, can I hear them? All right. So our continued plague in California. I don't know what this drought in the Midwest is, and this was news from today, and I thought it was awesome. Double hurricanes. Yeah. First time in history, we might have 2 hurricanes in the same place. Yes. I said
that's hot.
I love hurricanes. So I forgot to put photos of it, but it's not here yet. About down in the Gulf Coast, there are 2 growing hurricanes. They're both still tropical storms right now, but it looks like one's going into a category 1 and the other might go up to 3 at worst, but they're pretty light. It's still pretty cool, and it's all going to hit around Louisiana.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't say it's the first time in history, because I recently just saw it, like maybe in the last few days, of the Fujimura effect, which is where 2 cyclonic vortexes like
at the same for them to hit a same place at the same time.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's where 2 of them basically hit each other. And
see, that's them 2 coming together and creating one storm. No, this is one hitting first and then one coming, but they're both growing at the Gulf.
So it's one right after the other. So it's not at the same time. Oh.
No, there's just 2 growing around the same time. But
yeah, I hope those things break apart.
They're not together. And they're very light right now. One might actually fall to a tropical storm. But if they do, they have 2 light hurricanes around the Gulf Coast right now. It's just the first time that I've had that recorded since they started recording hurricanes.
That's hot.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I think that's freaking cool because it's like usually it's not gonna. It doesn't look like it'll be anything severe. I got this from what was it? The Orlando Sentinel, I believe. Yeah, I spend way too much time on weather Twitter. This has me stoked. I love hurricane season. All right.
Now when we say the plague and the continued plague and the Golden State,
we are still as of.
Do you mean coronavirus, or do you mean the fact that Lake Tahoe, which is now suffering a fire tornado, somebody came back from Lake Tahoe and has an actual recorded case of the plague in California?
Oh my god!
That's it sounds terrifying. Because it's like,
somebody has bubonic plague.
That's what we need going into September. We need the Black Plague to come back.
See, I just checked Erika's headlines, and I didn't know what she was referring to, so I just added the word "continued." She might have been referring to the bubonic plague.
Yeah, the plague has hit California again. Like the Black Plague is back.
See the return. See that was my mistake.
That was my mistake. Cause of alarm. Because we can treat the Black Plague with antibiotics, and usually it's like what I was reading for it. It's like, oh no, we had another case of it back in 2015, but there hopefully will never be a huge outbreak of the plague again, of the Black Plague again, simply because we have modern medicine and antibiotics. What I might be scared of is
except for anti-vaxxers,
the Black Plague fusing with COVID-19 and creating an even worse disease than we already have.
All right,
absolutely.
Have we ever actually gotten out of quarantine? Because I feel like we've still been in it since March.
What do you mean? It's March right now.
It's still March?
No.
All right. So then
it ain't March. I started school with my kids. It is not March. It ain't March right now. It is definitely August. I am working. No, we've
been in quarantine, lockdown conditions in Los Angeles County since March. It is currently August, and I know other places are like, "Oh, we're reopening, we're reopening." We had a soft reopening, and then it fucked everything up because people kept going and
up.
And then because everyone went to the beach, didn't give a damn, and then there's this place called, it's Huntington Beach, right?
Yeah.
There's this place called Huntington Beach.
Is it Costa Mesa? Is it Huntington Beach? Yes. What about the Orange County places?
Oh, you don't remember the protests?
Yeah, Huntington Beach protests. What I'm always going to love is, here's your mask. Here's your mask, and it's like, oh no thanks, we don't need a mask. I'm a medical professional, and I understand that the particles of COVID-19 are simply too small to be blocked by a mask, so what's the point of wearing one anyway? And it's like, oh cool, what kind of medical professional are you? Chiropractor. And I was like, all right, that's it.
And then there's my cousin who's an ER nurse, and he has this huge plastic setup so people know.
Chiropractors aren't real doctors anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not a. You know what? The thing is, people outside of their expertise, like if they have some credentials, they start to think they know more in all areas. Like, oh, I have a doctor, so I know what I'm talking about. But you don't have. But doesn't mean it translates to a knowledge that in something you're not involved in.
To clarify, it's most of these people who are saying, "Well, I'm a chiropractor." It's like, you specifically are not a real doctor. There are chiropractors who are real doctors, but I know there is a huge amount of people who call themselves chiropractors and lead people on in making them believe that they're doctors when they're not. That's what I mean to clarify for. And anybody who is saying that you're a healthcare professional and you're denying the effective use of COVID-19 with masks, you're not a real doctor. Turn in your smocks.
That's legitimate.
All
I
right.
was gonna say, no, chiropractors, they do have their place because they have extensive knowledge. I mean, the ones that aren't quacks anyways, because some of them they gotta sell out a little bit to, push their business because insurances don't cover it. But the ones that are legitimate, they do know quite a bit about the back, about the nervous system, about the spinal alignment. But would you really trust them with virology?
Would you trust them with fire tornadoes?
Yeah, yeah.
Tornadoes?
In your profession, right? I'm not an expert about fire tornadoes. But
I want to talk about the. Well, what the hell was that?
Yes.
Never mind. Something in the background. What the hell is this? Sometimes I hear some drones. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. We all know you're schizophrenic. It's okay. We're
talking.
you.
No, we're talking about coronavirus and chiropractors not being and false chiropractors not being real doctors. We're just getting too close to the truth, so they're sending drone strikes after you. That's what's happening.
Oh
well,
yes, you are getting too close to the truth because unfortunately.
I thought it was from my god, Elon Musk. He usually sends messages that way.
Yes, you're our Lord and Savior, Elon Musk. Absolutely.
Didn't he promise that there would be no new cases by the end of April?
We didn't believe enough.
He forgot to add that a little clause. There would be no new cases on his left nipple of the coronavirus.
See, we have to understand that words have power, and that anybody whose name is Elon Musk, we should not trust those kinds of people by virtue of their name. I know we shouldn't judge books by their covers. I'm just saying maybe we should judge griminess by name.
Yes.
XAE 12 whatever.
I'm okay. So
that kid is gonna have a wild ride, and I'm rooting for them.
No, he won't make it past 20.
Are we talking about Elon Musk's baby name? Because I can talk about that right now. I got a whole bit for that right now. Right?
Yeah, go for it.
Elon Musk is Elon Musk. Yeah. His baby. Is it the end of the world? I don't know. It'll be the end of the world when Elon Musk's baby.
No, I just needed to look at something.
Baby becomes president.
I don't think so.
That baby.
It's a child of a Canadian and a South African immigrant.
A South African immigrant who's white, and therefore, if he's coming from South Africa, he comes from a place of very high privilege.
I know. It's
because the racial divide there is insane.
Oh, not just that. It's one of the most disproportionately wealth in it has such a high wealth inequality. I'll send a video to you about it later. But keep going. I want to hear it. I want to hear this rant.
Let's stick on topic.
Yeah. So is it the end of the world?
Oh shoot! I don't think so. All right. Nah, this isn't the end of the world. These are all precursors to the end of the world.
Yeah, this is a precursor.
Let us enjoy the madness that is our current modern day society.
We're just somebody wearing a cosmic toilet.
Dom, 10 years ago. Wait, was it like 12 years ago? Sorry, you were telling me about a zombie apocalypse. Well, now we have a plague.
That's why this is the topic I was talking about last week on the first call. On the first podcast I was a part of. My friends and I have a term for this, and it's not a unique term. It's one that we keep using. We're in the soft apocalypse right now. That's where all the bureaucracy and infrastructure is still going around. While we have an apocalypse level scenario, like we have a plague that can just that can literally keep wiping people out because what we know so far on here August 22nd, your COVID-19 immunity lasts 3 months, which means that congratulations, you weren't a part of the 2% that this just murdered. And, you know, good on you if you pass the even higher test. You rolled the dice and passed the even higher test to come out of COVID-19 with no health complications. That for you, this was just a bad case of the flu and coughing for 2 weeks. Good on you. You're not one of the people that are going to have lifelong nervous system damage and lung damage to this. You can catch this again in 3 months, and we're going to roll the dice all over again. Like, this virus, until we get, like, a solid vaccine for it, you're rolling the dice every 3 months.
And
that's terrifying.
And not only that, but when it comes to severe lung issues, when it comes to severe heart issues, so it's about a 1 out of 5 chance for severe lung issues, a 1 out of 5 chance for severe heart issues. I think it is a 2% out of 100% are going to get a stroke while they undergo COVID, and they're none of them are mutually exclusive. So you're rolling the dice for each of them.
Yep. All right. So, would you guys like to hear some of my questions?
Yes. Let's move into the Q&A section of the podcast.
We're gonna have to create a slide for this someday. All right. So, are we leading ourselves to the end of human existence? With the current way we run things, the current way we plan things, the current way we act, are we leading ourselves to our own downfall?
Totally.
Yeah, this has been happening for a while.
Oh, I know, it's gone for a long time.
It's the American strong sense of independence.
Oh,
it is the incredibly muddled bureaucracy that nobody likes listening to. It's the fact that people who do follow science are usually assholes. Hence, all science journals should be written in Comic Sans, so you can feel less pompous when you read it.
No,
it needs to be accessible.
No, all scientist journals should be written in my style.
I think we should just switch over from Times New Roman as a whole in Comic Sans. That should just be the new standard.
I'll accept that instead of my sensationalism. But all right. So. There's often a lot of speculation and proof, there's a good amount of proof and evidence concurring that we're currently going through a mass extinction. So, any thoughts on what might survive, what might take over, what might continue on past our human ineptitude as we continue to go forward in time? Or as our actions continue to dictate what happens in the forward in time?
Arthropods.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Like, they can do a lot of shit. Water bears.
The tardigrades.
Hey, look. Water bears just spec'd into high temperature differences. Water bears, tardigrades, they're still prey on the microscopic scale. I love water bears. They're amazing. They're cute.
Pew pew.
But they are not the invincible death machines that will outlive us all as they are portrayed as.
I've got 2 animals for you guys that you haven't considered. One is the almighty crow.
Crows, yeah.
They are brilliant, they're strategic, they are, what's the word? Obviously they're intellectuals, but I was thinking, what is this? They work in groups. What's that called?
Murders.
Communities. Yeah, they're communal birds. Oh yeah, murders. So they're the murderers. All right, cool. So, yes, and my second one was pigeons.
Yeah, I think birds.
You got these scavengers, man. You got these certain birds. Depends on the bird.
Probably next.
I'm considering like birds will take over. We will have new avian overlords.
Yeah. I would say like octopi, squids, and sea creatures.
Nah, we're destroying the ocean. Ocean acidification, bro.
But according to several religions, they already had their shot. And they had their shot. They had it. They were like World 3. We're on like World 6 right now. I think World 7 is going to be the birds.
No, see, this is birds are descendants.
Alfred Hitchcock. It was a prophetic movie.
No, I'm telling you right now. Birds are the descendants of dinosaurs, as we've known.
Yeah.
This is their revenge. This is their return to their time of their glory. They missed their glory
Oh yeah, all birds are dinosaurs.
The dinosaur ages, which is it? The Jurassic, Triassic,
all
the other one?
All birds are reptiles. And we need to come to terms with this. They all have scales, right? Birds are reptiles.
Birds are reptiles.
Yeah, well, yeah, technically they are, but the categorizing reptiles is a bit weird because almost anything is a reptile. You go to the base definition of what a reptile is, even we are, although we are really synapsids.
Yeah.
Sorry, we get all.
Oh, are we going into lizard people now?
We're going into lizard people. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Erika's been talking about lizard people.
As a part of our apocalypse thing. I mean, I'm gonna say there's a huge problem. Yeah. There's a huge problem with the belief of lizard people, and there's a huge racial undertone thing to lizard people. But I'm strictly speaking from an alien standpoint of lizard people, like infesting the earth and things like that. Oh yeah, lizard people.
Nah, they're gonna suffer.
They're calling it out now. Like,
they're cold-blooded. They're really like lizards. They're cold-blooded. They can't stand thermoregulation. They're gonna be screwed up when it's gonna be too hot for them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the lizard people teamed up with us. And I can't remember exactly which base in the U.S. it is, but it's like, oh yeah, all of like the conspiracy theories are no, like there's conspiracy theories of that base, and it's like, yeah, it's where humans, and it's not an alien research station. It's like, it's actually like, it's a lizard people station where they work with humans to do stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they've been working with us because they know that
this is in Florida.
Also had their shot.
It's got to be in Florida.
Yeah, they had their shot, and they're working with humans so that we can prevent the bird uprising.
No,
that's what's happening.
You're not prepared for the bird uprising. You're terrified of the bird uprising. Just wait. Yeah. Why are you terrified of the bird uprising?
Because that is a.
They're adorable.
That is a grand.
They'll pick people's eyes up.
Shift scenario, and I'm not okay with that.
I, for one, welcome our bird overlords.
Oh, jeez.
I love birds. Come on.
Hail Zorp. Hail Zorp.
Yeah.
He will return. He will return and breathe fire on us all. Hail Zorp.
I can't wait until my eyeballs melt off. I don't know about you guys.
Dulce Base. That's what it is. Dulce Base. If you want to look into that later, listeners or fellow speakers, Dulce Base is basically the human, jointly operated human lizard people base out here in the good old U.S. of A. In Colorado/New Mexico.
No, I thought the lizard base should have been in.
Might be Dulce Base, but I'm saying
what? Lizard people are here. I thought it was in Florida. I've been looking in the wrong places.
No, they send all of the retired, much like with everything. They send all the retired lizard people to Florida.
I thought they were posing as crocodiles in the Everglades.
Yeah, that's where they came from.
All right.
God's perfect creature, the crocodile and alligator.
Sharks feel offended by that. Anyway.
Hey. Who can do water inland? Not sharks. Crocodiles can.
You haven't given them a chance.
I would like to move to say that sharks just haven't decided.
They've survived every mass extinction. Most mass extinctions. I don't know about the next one.
Sharks can come on land because Sharknado very accurately documented this.
Thank you.
We are moving on to the next question now.
All right, my final question, and this is one that you two can go wild with your creativity with. I would like you guys to each plan your own apocalypse. Create your own scenario. How would this happen? Why would this happen? What is the outcome?
Create my own apocalypse?
Yes.
Why?
Why not?
I don't want to do this. This is that territory. Erika, Hail Zorp.
Yeah, Hail Zorp.
Hail Zorp.
Yeah, that is my apocalypse. Hail Zorp. If you do not know what Zorp is,
I don't.
Zorp is a reference from
we have a book to recommend. We have a book to recommend if you don't know about Zorp the Surveyor.
Yes.
Zorp the Surveyor. Long live Zorp.
Okay.
It's a book. It's Organize It 2, Engage with Zorp by Lou Prozadovich. Now, if you're actually Googling that, looking for where you can understand Zorp the Surveyor, this is all a huge reference to one of the best shows around. Parks and Recreation.
Oh wow! I completely forgot that.
That's our preferred apocalypse scenario. I mean, personally, my preferred apocalypse scenario is there's Zorp. That's up there. That's number one. But a close second place is, can I just have any type of apocalypse scenario with magic in it?
Yeah.
Before I go out, can I just get confirmation that magic is out there? Like if I get like a, you can give me anything you want. You can give me anything you want as long as you prove that there's some supernatural stuff going on in the world. That's fine.
What about a war of necromancers?
I'm 100% down.
All right.
I'm 100% down for Gozer the Destroyer and Zorp the Surveyor to just tag team the end of the world.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
I'd like to avoid an apocalypse, and I'm going to take this scenario from one that Dominic has given me in the past, and that is the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the literal 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, fighting against 4 of wrestling's greatest legends.
Oh, I forgot. Well, no, that's not an apocalypse theory, Lenny. That's what's happening right now.
This is how it's going to get avoided.
Randy Savage has been fighting the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and every time a great wrestler dies, they join him up there. Like it was a 1-on-4 match for the longest time.
And then he tagged with Ultimate Warrior, right?
Yes, it was Ultimate Warrior, and then it was Dusty Rhodes, we've just had like these we've had these guys.
Kamala showed up. By the way,
come on, yeah. They are fighting the good fight.
Roddy Piper's there too.
Roddy Piper. They're slowly getting added into the ranks. I need to create. It's like a Morton Joe and the Cult of the V8. I need to just start personally creating, just so that it's there for the foundation of the apocalypse and the human remnants that are going to be left behind. It's going to be like the Cult of the V8, where you ride into Valhalla shiny and chrome, but with wrestling.
Yeah.
I need to create a wrestling cult for the new world.
I approve of this.
But yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Roddy Piper, and Dusty Rhodes are fighting the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse in an engaging, multi-tiered wrestling ring, like a pyramid.
No, this is like War Games.
As a wrestling match.
Come on, War Games.
Yeah, as like a Jacob's Ladder match in the sky to determine the end of the world. But that's not a proposed theory, Lenny. That's what's happening right now.
I can make any apocalypse happen.
I don't know what happened, but the scales of the universe have tipped in the 4 Horsemen's favor.
No, somebody threw a chair at Randy. No, wait. Somebody threw a chair at our good friend Randy Savage.
A crass devil. Yeah, a crass devil from the crowd threw something in the ring to throw off our boys.
But remember, they did win round 1 because that was why Howard Finkel was there.
Yeah.
Was it Howard Finkel? Who? No. Mean Gene showed up recently. Remember?
Yeah, Mean Gene showed up.
To give an interview.
Up there.
China's up there. Oh yeah.
So I don't understand wrestling. But
we're talking about classic wrestlers.
You don't have to explain it to me, because if you do, I still will not understand. But I really appreciate your enthusiasm. Like, wrestling is something that you don't explain. You go and you
experience.
That's pretty much it.
That's a fair thing.
You watch that and you just experience it. Do you explain wrestling? No. You live wrestling.
Yes.
The best explanation that a wrestling will ever have is costume murder gymnastics. And that's all we're gonna leave it at. What else is on the docket?
Well, anyway, and school is back.
Right. Okay, so school is back. This is oh my god.
You know what?
Is insane.
School would be better off if they made those flyers there in Comic Sans.
Yeah, it would. Honestly, but they're uneven, you know. So they're still friendly. They're still kind of cute. You're not actually, but none of us in LAUSD are actually going back into school because people weren't stupid when they were planning things.
Like New York,
you know. Oh my god.
Or like Florida.
What a mess.
Florida's been stupid the entire time.
What a mess. And all those poor Orange County schools. Did you hear about them getting waivers?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
Orange County should just be. Can we just like?
If your kid dies going back to school, you can't sue us.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
That's
Yeah,
well,
it's crazy.
Would you like me to click on this KTLA link?
No, you don't. That was just the link to I was just putting sources. I don't know how to cite sources for photos. I forgot. Well, no, I do know, but then I didn't take the time to look into it because I whipped all of this up in like, what, 3 minutes before we started?
That's fair.
Yeah, my PowerPoint game is on point.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. I was surprised when I got on and I'm like, oh, right.
But yeah, there were a lot of crazy things going on this week. One, it is hot as heck. Can you imagine having to sit in front of your computer all day when it's hot as heck on a Zoom call? Ugh.
You're just gonna watch me sweat.
That, but here's the deal. I want y'all to think, and I already told Lenny a little bit about this, but Dom, I want you to think. When a kid is online and it is a middle school kid and they're going back to school and it's going to be Zoom calls, what are the things that they're going to pull? What are some creative things? What are some creative ways that kids are going to do things? Memes. All the kids were changing their profile picture that was supposed to be their Zoom call. They were just rotating through different memes. And when I was looking at them, I'm like, oh, that right there is Polish Jerry. I know Polish Jerry because I'm in touch with memes. That is not appropriate for this classroom because that's one of them dank memes and that's not okay. But of course, your 70-year-old history teacher is not going to catch you on that. He's going to think, oh, it's a funny clip of Jerry. And it's a huge distraction. I also got Zoom bombed this week. Yep. Really irritating. It's in middle school, so like they don't actually think of anything creative, you know, like putting up porno. They just, you know, start playing their crappy music and stuff like that. And it's like, oh God, can you knock this off? Do any of us want to deal with this? I don't know. It's just it's one of those things that's just everything's a pain in the butt. Because you have all these kids because they've been cooped up all summer, and the first chance they get to socialize, they're gonna screw it up because they're 13.
That's how it be.
Yeah, that's
how it be, Yuki.
That is literally how it be. And then like you get some kids and then I get some random kids not some random kids, but I get some kids telling me, oh, I was really disappointed that people were so immature. And I'm like, dude, this is one of those kids that was banking all their stock because they had no friends over the summer. They had hardly any family over the summer. They're getting driven up the wall by everybody they live with, and they were putting so much stock into their first day of school just to have some a-hole blow it up. But let me tell you, I don't think they were any more disappointed than if actual school were in place because it's middle school, and kids always manage to screw things up royally, which is why I like it. Keeps it lively. Also, there was a kid without a shirt on. That was weird.
Yeah, that's very inappropriate. I don't care what your gender is.
As
for kids, yeah.
You know,
week. And I just told him, you gotta put a shirt on if you're gonna have your camera on.
Can't we just, can't we institute? I understand it though. It's like, what are the consequences of not adhering to a dress policy while we're on a Zoom call? It's like, what are you gonna do? Send me home?
No, you let their parents know, and then you trust that they do the rest. Not all parents actually do something, but then once I let the parents know, I let the parents know, and then I let that one go.
See, there has to be a feature. There should be a feature through Zoom calling, especially now that we're getting in that. We're getting into that territory. Of like, because it's like, okay, with companies, it's like everybody's at least expected to be professional because the boss is on the call. But like you said, they're middle schoolers. They have nothing to lose.
Oh, they don't. In fact, they're only losing because they're in middle school.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
I have to check in with them visually, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to make sure that they're not okay and they're not getting beat up at home. But I can't really tell them that. But I tell them, yeah, we're a family, and I just want to make sure that we're all okay. And I like to see your face because with my classroom, you guys are my family, and I like to check in on you, right? But in reality, I just want to make sure that they're not getting beat up at home. And I got a lot of students that are saying, "Oh, Miss Lytle, I'm so ugly," and I just tell them, you know what? Middle schoolers look weird. You might be trying to figure out who's looking good on campus, and let me tell you, all middle schoolers, they just look weird. They just all look some sort of weird, and that's okay. Most of you aren't going to hit your attractive stride until you get to college, and that's perfully fine. All right, about 90%.
Don't judge your race by somebody else's progress in it.
Yeah, and don't judge yourself by somebody else's progress.
Honestly, nobody wants to peak early. Peaking early is the worst. Don't ever be happy if you peak early.
Don't ever be happy what?
If you peak early in your looks.
Oh, see, I heard the first part of that, and I was just I'm on board with that. Just don't be happy ever. You're setting yourself up for the disappointment later. Just don't be happy. Just maintain a nice, neutral optimism about life. You'll be fine.
I was actually telling them the story about how my mother was the ugliest girl in her village. Because my mother was the ugliest girl in her village in Cambodia. Because so we have so as a baby I had eczema. That's genetic. But when she was a baby, because they didn't have the medicine we have here, she had like head to toe blisters, and she had those head to toe blisters until she was like 11 or 12 or 13 or something. I don't know. So and then the Khmer Rouge hit, and then somewhere during those 7 years of her country going through that terrible genocide, her skin started looking normal again. But yeah, she had horrible blisters. But the kids would still play with her because she was fun. And she was getting good grades in school. She didn't even care about being ugly. But then again, we live in the United States and we have different values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wouldn't say most Americans are attractive
poor
either.
Kids. They're on TikTok all the time looking at people that are through filters, and they think they gotta look that way, or they gotta dance that way, or they gotta get a booty that grows to be that big. My poor kids, man. They'll make it through. If you're a kid listening, you really shouldn't listen to this. But if you're a kid listening to this, you'll make it through. You are probably ugly because you're in middle school, because everybody in middle school, I don't tell middle school students they're ugly, but most of them are, and this is just a fact. You're supposed to be ugly in middle school. This is normal.
Yeah, it's a growing period. You don't judge the butterfly for the cocoon.
Yeah, you don't judge the butterfly for the worm. You judge it for the butterfly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me one moment. I just heard a noise. I'm gonna go check on that real quick.
It's okay. We can just edit this down. No problem.
It's another drone.
It's another. Oh shit.
No, there's like some neighbor of mine who's gotten into drones, and like sometimes you'll see them around. The cops were around the other day.
I don't think Elon Musk would send a drone because
I really don't either. I just said it as a joke.
He's concerned about people like us because his head is so far up his butt.
No, he wouldn't. But a lot of people from SpaceX live around here. So they're probably it's probably just them like trying out an activity when they're bored.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me being serious. Hey. So
everything is a-okay.
So was it a drone?
Yeah, the drone strikes are hitting me now too. Erika, get in the bunker.
You know what? She lives by the docks, so she knows how to get out.
Get in the sub.
Get in the subs.
Get in the sub, or crawl into the abandoned warehouse by the Superfund site.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The one with all the feral cats.
There are multiple ones with feral cats. Which one do
We
you
have to be
think
more.
of?
No, we can't. No. You know the one we're talking about. We can't be too.
We can't. Sorry, we can't
too
know which
specific,
one.
or
We
else they'll
can't know which one.
you're going
We
to.
can't tell where you are. Come on, we gotta keep you safe. If one of us is gonna survive, at least one of us gotta survive.
Yep, school's back, everything's weird, all the kids are awkward, and it's another school year. I didn't think that I was going to cry this week, and then I cried this morning. But I only cried once. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm improving.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my new favorite phrase at work, it used to be when people asked me what I was going to go do when I left the store and went to go pick up like Starbucks or something, my phrase used to be hookers and blow. That, because of the virus and just the general state of the world, has evolved to I'm gonna go huff, paint, and cry now.
People actually ask you what you're gonna do when you get off work?
Yeah. Because some of the people on my work are compassionate people who care about the mental health of your coworkers. Not just because you're in retail hell doesn't mean that your fellow hellmates don't care about you.
That's true. That's true. I remember I never worked retail hell, but I worked at the California Science Center, which I tell everybody who's like, "Ooh, you worked at the Science Center." I'm like, no, that's Chuck E. Cheese with science. Let's be very clear about this. That place was Chuck E. Cheese with science, because all the parents would go there and they would dump their kids, and their kids would go crazy, and they'd be on their phone, trying to ignore what the heck their kids are doing, licking everything and jumping off things, and then I'd be dealing with that and with crazy parent. Oh my God. That was why I became a teacher, so I could have authority.
We just need to respect my authority, like an Erika, Bitmoji, respect my authority.
Not to respect my authority.
Respect my authority.
It's more of a, I kind of feel bad that you don't got that much guidance going on in your life, and here's an opportunity for me to give you some, because clearly you ain't getting that at home.
You know what? I never figured you for a dom, to be honest.
You never figured me for a what?
I'll just... Should I say it again?
You'll catch it. She'll catch it in the broadcast version.
Oh, girl, for what?
Moving backwards. I think that should be a thing with Zoom calls. And I don't know if there is, because again, I work in retail hell. I'm not a corporate overlord that gets to work from home with Zoom. That should be a thing. Isn't there like an administrator thing where it's like, oh, you're the one who's at the head of the call, so you can turn people's like cameras off to the rest of the view, or like turn their microphones off? Like, there should just be somebody who's in charge of the Zoom meeting or Zoom call where you can just turn people's camera off so they can't be inappropriate on camera, or just
legit, they're sending helicopters now.
Profile picture back down to like names or something. There should be like.
Okay, so let's take a step back. There are so many freaking settings on Zoom. There are so many freaking settings. I was figuring out settings that I hadn't even I'd been preparing all summer, and there were still some things that with Zoom that I hadn't prepared for. There are settings where you can turn on and off their mics. There are settings where you can kick them out. There are settings where I haven't figured out the setting where I could get them to stop changing their stinking profile picture. I haven't figured that one out yet.
But you know it exists.
I could even show you the page right now that we do for all of our Zoom settings. You just keep scrolling, right?
Have you watched the YouTube DIY yet?
There's too many right now.
I'm pretty sure I could just go to YouTube right now and just teaching with Zoom 101. And it would still be an hour long.
Yeah, and it would still be an hour long. But let me tell you this right now. I mean, I am no Schoology goddess, but I'm a freaking wizard right now. I'm a freaking Schoology wizard right now, right? I'm a freaking Zoom wizard right now. I know a lot, and I'm at the point where YouTube videos can't help me. I actually need to go directly to the tech support. I'm at that level. Yeah.
So you can make those YouTube videos, though.
I am not at the level. I'm not goddess. I'm not goddess with the YouTube videos, but I've already watched the YouTube videos. I don't know anything new, but I'm already past that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So remember, this year is also an election year.
Yes. So on top of school being back, we have an election year, and everything is.
I've decided to post the most
weird.
to use at least the
These
friendliest photos. Yeah, I figure with the madness of this year, I can't.
Back into it.
Exactly. I needed to use something lighthearted because I don't want to talk about who we're electing. I want to talk about how we're gonna elect things, because the way we're stuck with, I am a registered mail-in voter, and I know vote by mail is not common in other states. I just want to know if you guys are set up for vote by mail, and like your thoughts on why people aren't willing to do it anymore in other places. Sorry, not anymore.
Okay, so did you hear about the kerfuffle with all the postal service stuff?
Oh yeah.
By the way,
I think we should close the politic one with that, because we've got I mean we got good news on that.
Yes, I sent earlier during the podcast. I had sent text messages to both of my friends here, to lovely Dom and Erika, about some good news about the U.S. Postal Service that has been suffering for a very long time.
Suffering intentional. You know what? I'm just gonna come out. The U.S. Postal Service was being sabotaged.
Yeah.
To prevent mail-in voting.
Yeah.
Or to at least heavily discourage it, and because our actual, the blue lives who actually do matter, our postal workers, because they ignored the calls for silence from their superiors and said, no, we're going to make sure people understand that we're being sabotaged and ruined. It caused enough of a public kerfuffle that, as Erika said, that funding has been secured for them to continue on and to reverse all of the horrible changes that were basically going to be shoved down our throats, of like no more post boxes and like reduced hours of operations, so that only people who didn't have day jobs could actually go do it, which highly eliminates it highly eliminates the actual need for the postal service if you just say the working class aren't allowed to use it, because then they would have to call off.
Yeah, it's one of our oldest institutions in the United States, and it's predated us, to be honest. It's predated our country.
We all know that we all know that because if I remember correctly, the postal office was it instituted by Ben Franklin?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that the post office. The only reason that the horniest founding father made the post office and put down the groundwork for it was just so he could get and send nudes. That was it. And look at the wonderful system it's created.
Yeah, it's really nice.
You know what? If Amazon won't send to you, USPS will.
Well, I'm curious. Even though all of those changes have been reversed, what about the guy that was kind of at the head of all those changes? Is he going to be going out?
Well, it's not that the changes have been reversed. They've managed to get funding.
Yeah, they managed to get funding to keep those changes from happening. So it's not like those changes aren't still
the possibilities. They're on the block. There are suggestions that still exist. The thing is that they've managed to receive
funding right now to hold that off until at least the election year is over.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, is my neighborhood ever going to get its local post mailbox back? That's what I really hope for. It's a hope. I know y'all can't answer it, but I'm really hoping that our local post mailbox can come back, because now I got to walk 3 or 4 blocks to the next post mailbox to send a package. And I don't have time for that anymore. I'm back in school mode.
Yeah, you're working, and you're working unpaid overtime, so to sculpt those minds.
Yeah, well,
so that they can be better than us.
That's something else.
I want them to be just as good as me, if not better. Sometimes I'm just hoping that it's not even a better than me. It's like, I really hope that you can at least get to my level, and by that, you will be breaking your family's negative cycle.
Oh, you guys understand that me on an eagle over an American flag doesn't necessarily mean I'm incredibly patriotic. It just means I really like eagles, and I really like flags.
Eagles are fun. Eagles are pretty cool.
Eagles are really dope. They're beautiful creatures, and weren't they thriving just a little bit earlier because of the pandemic? I don't know how they're doing right now because of the fires.
Yeah.
There was a really cute eagle nest on that I would always watch on explore.org. It was really cute. They have these explore.org. They have these live cams of nature, and it's really great. The kids like it when we do what is it called?
All right, I'll say this because we live in California, and a lot of our just the Pacific West here, it's very fire prone, and we have fire seasons. We literally have seasons entirely devoted to shit is going to burn. I'm pretty sure that anything that's lived here or like regularly comes by understands that there's a season. They know that there's certain seasons they need to get out and migrate. So like I bet summer
exists for a reason, but we as humans,
because summer here is never pleasant. Fall here is never pleasant. What's pleasant here is winter and spring.
Yeah, the southern points of the Pacific Northwest are absolutely awful. I always plan on my plan still is to just keep moving north. I gotta keep ahead of the climate change.
Yeah, Pacific Southwest is our summers are long.
Southwest
we don't really have awful. Fall. We just have a fire season.
Yeah,
fall is like
summer,
2 weeks in December.
We have summer.
No, between November.
Then we have a little bit colder summer, but the air is drier.
Which is our fire season.
And then we get about 3 weeks of 3 weeks maybe of rain, which is what we call winter, and then it's back to summer.
But we have a short spring.
Yeah, we have like a week of spring.
Yeah, spring doesn't last here very long, but it tends to be very beautiful. If we have a very wet winter, we have a nice and very pleasant spring. But otherwise, summer here is dreadful. Summer here is horrible.
We're just gonna keep
we have this thing called June gloom.
Where the wine is best, right?
If you want a vacation here in summer, no.
We're moving with that chaparral environment, and it's not doing so good for mid-California, right? It's actually getting even better for Oregon wine, so we're going to keep moving north to Oregon, and then maybe wines are going to get better in Washington as climate change keeps creeping up, right?
Yeah, because
we'll get Canadian wine where it tastes like breakfast.
Oh, that actually sounds pleasant. Maple syrup wine.
What?
Maple syrup sounds like it's better with a whiskey.
Yeah, I honestly, maple syrup does sound like it would be better with a whiskey. Or a stout.
Yeah.
I don't know, something malty. I can see that in a beer.
Yeah. Speaking of beer, is there any other place wait, I can't segue into this. So, nothing goes as well. Alright. You know what? I'd like some Arbor Gold. I'd like some Dornish Red. There we go. I couldn't come up with something better.
Oh, I can come up with one better.
That's our segue.
No, Eric, give it to Erika. Give it to Erika.
Girl, I made this. I farted this thing up on a Wednesday night. It's been here for a while. I had it all in the notes.
I didn't read the notes. I didn't see any notes.
We had notes, but then we started talking about alcohol. We started talking about alcohol, and look where that gave us. We needed to make a new segue. We needed a new segue.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What the fart heck else? Whatever. Yeah, sure. We're gonna talk. We were talking about the end of the world. We were talking about everyday chaos, and now we're gonna be talking about the ASOIAF chaos. The ASOIAF this whole thing is about apocalypse scenarios of various kinds, and now we're moving into
there's a very
fictional case of
there's a very fun theory.
Climate change and apocalypse in a changing world.
No, this isn't magical.
With the
and ice
amazing book series turned mediocre live action show by George R.R. Martin. A Song of Ice and Fire in Game of Thrones.
Or we could just say that, okay, let's just keep it real. Is there really a theme, or are we just talking about what we want here?
Well, it's connected to destruction.
There's a loose theme of fire tornadoes.
If anything, if there's any
sabotaging politicians, climate change, an end of the world scenario. I mean, I could be talking about 2020.
Honestly, 2020
about A Song of Ice and Fire.
2020 and the Song of Ice and Fire series are very parallel because one, we can talk about the current COVID problem, right? They are going to experience a plague soon because John Connington getting on and bringing grayscale. Plus, there's also the Pale Mare going on in Marine. So yes, there's plague. There is also...
Yeah, aren't we legally allowed to like lock George R.R. Martin up in his house now because he didn't give us the manuscript by like what, August 16th?
Yeah, why was he so specific with that date?
Because what he wanted to do, he wanted to have if I remember correctly, he wanted to have a completed manuscript to show at a convention, so that he could say, hey, the manuscript is done, it's just got to go through the editor now. Because at the moment, if I'm right, we don't even have a complete manuscript for the next book in A Song of Ice and Fire. And he was like, look, if I don't get off my plane with a completed manuscript in hand for that convention, then you can legally lock me. This is me saying you can legally lock me in a cabin with my typewriter looking over those like sulfuric wastes, as long as it doesn't interfere with my writing process. However, I believe that because that convention is canceled because of COVID, that means that technically he did not get off that plane for that convention, which means that we can't lock him up just yet. Got an extension. He got an extension, all right?
So he got an extension.
Divine intervention.
So can I just interject? Do you think that the way, because writers are deeply affected not only by events that happened in the past, which George R.R. Martin definitely does pay homage to, but also things happening today. And do you think that all of the chaos that has happened in the last couple of years, do you think that might have, thrown off the end of his story?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like especially with COVID-19 happening now, like you'll see it from artists all over, from cosplayers who make their costumes, makeup artists, people, comics, independents, everything like that. Any type of art form, any type of productivity at all has been deeply impacted by COVID-19, where you would think that, hey, you're in your house receiving that one stimulus check that we as Americans received compared to like everybody else's, like they received it like for like at least 3 months. We got one. Or that unemployment check because your job furloughed you or put you on temporary leave until this crisis is over. You would think that, like, on paper, going like, oh man, you don't have to worry about like going outside except for like groceries and except for supplies, but otherwise you can just entirely devote yourself into your art form or into productivity. On paper, that is exactly what it is, but to literally everybody experiencing it, no. Like 99.99% of us, when we were like, oh, all you have to do is just stay inside and you can just do whatever you want as long as it's inside and you don't interact with people outside your circle, and you can be so productive. You can learn that language. You can do that. You can produce that album that you've been self-financing. You can do that comic. No, just the existential dread of the soft apocalypse we're going on, where literally we're facing an extinction level event, but all of the bureaucracy is still in place. Like, all of that just weighs down into an existential spiral of despair, where people are finally learning, oh, I did have clinical depression. Nothing just ever like pushed me this hard before. And so yeah, George R.R. Martin, he's totally been impacted by Corona, and there's a lot of procrastination that I'll sit there and say, look man, just write your book. But with COVID, like I said, he got an extension, and I'm not mad at it.
It's almost...
I would love for the next book to come out during the pandemic so I could have something else to distract myself with. But I understand that he needs to be distracted right now from the world around us. Otherwise, the bleak ending that we all know is going to happen.
He did admit that he planned it to be bittersweet. He imagined the ending as bittersweet.
Yeah, bittersweet. Yeah, but it's like that bittersweet ending. It's going to be bleak though. It's going to be bleak with a glimmer of hope. I hope. But yeah, if he pushed himself to write during all this, I'm pretty sure that it would just be even worse. And I'm in no way like judging him if he hasn't written it because he's been trying to do other things to stay sane. Like I don't blame anybody's coping scenario. As long as your coping scenario, your coping mechanism during this time is a healthy one that doesn't harm you or others.
Remember, he's writing two books at once because
he's writing like two books at once. Like I said, I don't blame anybody's coping mechanism for this. And if your coping mechanism is, I'm just not gonna write the book that I said I was gonna write, bro, that's fine. You do you, because I'm never gonna say, dude, your personal health comes secondary to my goblin brain saying me want book. That's awful. But yeah.
Well, going back a bit, it's even with all the scenarios, the Book of A Song of Ice and Fire, like the book series, very much does deal with the apocalypse because they have this whole like, okay, there's gonna be this apocalyptic setting, things are gonna go really bad, and we need a specific hero to like help save us all. That's the whole Azor Ahai prophecy. So while the word huh? Oh, okay.
Continuing.
I was gonna say. So will the world end? Will that world end in ice? How will it change? Who is Azor Ahai? There's a lot of questions there, but there's also different ideas over how this apocalypse thing or brand event that's world shifting that could happen. For example. There's this theory about Euron Greyjoy, which Erika helped bring light to me. I can hear Max.
Is it that Euron is Azor Ahai?
No,
definitely not. It is that you. Okay, so here's the deal. The book is called A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yes.
Right. So who's the song? Who's the ice? Who's the fire? Let's just kick it off with that.
Well, the Song of Ice and Fire is supposed to be specifically just one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their journey.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Tyrion, ice was Jon Snow, and fire was Daenerys, and they each represented each of the eggs at the very, like in the very first book when Daenerys becomes the mother of dragons, right? Like they represent each of those dragon eggs.
Well,
those are the 3 dragons.
Right. The idea of the Song of Ice and Fire is it's kind of just Rhaegar's invention. It's not actually connected to the. It's not actually connected to the Azor Ahai prophecy because you hear it from different people.
I mean, I take it as a thing that's present that's present in a lot of fictional works. But I always go back to the Elder Scrolls series for it. Is that there's just different. It's the same story just being told through different countries' lenses. So the Azor Ahai prophecy is supposed to be the same one of the Song of Ice and Fire, but it's just the Westerosi version versus the Asai and the Essos version.
Well, the Westerosi, the first men have like the idea of the last hero, and then I think you're referring to a prince that was promised. The Song of Ice and Fire is just something that Rhaegar said at one point. And some people quote, but it's not specifically tied because not everyone mentions it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think that, especially with their, wow, I just lost track of myself. I went like from 120 and I just went to a grinding halt over a cliff.
I'll take credit for that. I shouldn't.
Yeah, no, there we go. Yeah, Rhaegar, I love the in-universe praise that Rhaegar gets as like the hero that we didn't deserve, but the one we wanted, and all of that. And I'm like, no, Rhaegar is like the more you read about and the more you read through it, it's like, no, Rhaegar isn't like if he was the king, it's not something of, it's like, oh man, if only like the Mad King Aerys, like if he just like died and Rhaegar became the king. It's like, no, Rhaegar is madness of his own. Rhaegar is
very prophecy driven.
He's obsessed.
Yeah.
With the idea, like he was obsessed originally with the idea that, the world was a story and he was the hero that the world needed. And then when he finally did get a little bit of a taste of reality, and he was like, oh wait, no, I'm not the hero. And he's like, but the hero isn't born yet. I'm gonna make the hero. Like, he's still stuck in his idea that the world is a story, which it is, but he believes it's the story of, you know, good conquering evil, rather than what Game of Thrones is, which is what happens when a story does meet reality, because there's just a cruel reality that offsets the story for it, and it's not a fairy tale. Like, Rhaegar is just obsessed with the fairy tale, to the point where even when he got, like, slugged in the face with reality, he was like, no, it's cool. I'm just not the hero. But the hero still exists. The fairy tale's still going. Like, he's still madness. He's still a dangerous madness, because he doesn't believe. He believes that things are just going to work themselves out if the right person comes along and fixes it. When it's like, that's not the case.
All right. So, I really do want to hear about the. What? Oh my gosh, they're playing music outside! Well, give me a moment.
I think that when it comes to A Song of Ice and Fire, if I recall correctly, on my very hazy Wednesday night when it was just too hot to sleep, when I really should have been sleeping, but I just couldn't because of the heat. What I recall is that Euron Greyjoy was selected into power. Much like how a lot of the decisions that we make that inevitably lead us to destruction.
I'll just keep it here.
A lot of the things that, you know, are going to lead to our destruction, ultimately we entice them. We started them, and we never allowed them to stop. And that's really similar to climate change. You know, that's really similar to how this pandemic got incredibly out of hand. It was a combination of that and bad information, and people hated going back and forth, and Americans love their own independence. So that was a tornado waiting to happen.
That was a tornado, a sharknado, and two hurricanes, all smacking into one place.
Dude, let's be real, the real talk. If a fire tornado hit a hurricane, would the hurricane win?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, a hurricane
is water.
A hurricane is just a more evolved tornado.
Yeah, that's picked up a lot of.
Right.
It's a stronger tornado.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amphibious tornado, all right?
All right, let me give you guys a little bit of knowledge. A hurricane, it's very common for hurricanes to cause tornadoes.
That's fair. It's a disaster that makes other disasters. It's already a tier list higher.
Yep.
So Erika, what was that theory with Euron Greyjoy?
So Euron Greyjoy, he totally won because of hype. Because the thing with the Ironborn is that they're fiercely independent and dumb, which might remind you of a particular country that we live in, which I love so much. I love America so much. I cannot say that I hate my country, because every single day when I look into I can't look into my actual classroom anymore, but when I look at my kids, right, I have nothing but love for them, and I know that every single one of them, no matter where they come from, is American, because they're getting an American education, right?
Real American.
Yes, I love my country because I love my kids. But the thing is, we are, our country, it has a ton of flaws. And one of them is our fierce sense of independence. And one of them is our fierce greed, our very avarice. Flashy, yes. MIA.
Yeah. And there's another individual with a ton of avarice, and that is Euron Greyjoy. He will sacrifice anything and anyone for what he wants the most, and that is power, ultimate power. And did you go into the theory of Euron Greyjoy setting off the apocalypse?
Yeah, so Euron Greyjoy, eventually what he wants to do is set off the apocalypse. And the main reason is because Euron Greyjoy, while he says that, hey, I'm going to bring you all this cool stuff, in reality, he's just another case of the Joker. He just wants to watch the world burn. You know, and I feel like in the end, if given a chance, he will even surrender his own life so that chaos can ensue.
Yeah, Euron's an interesting character in the books. I love his character in the books. I can barely stand his character in the show because he's not the same guy.
I've not watched that far. Because I stopped watching in season 5, and you know my favorite character was just Bloodshirt.
I'm sorry about that. The series that never got to complete, Game of Thrones. It's a great series. It sucks that it's been on hiatus ever since the end of season 5.
No, forget it.
Like, it was such a great show, and we just haven't gotten to season 6 yet. It's so weird.
Stop. Just okay. Tell me about show Euron Greyjoy, because I know I missed a lot.
Oh, show Euron Greyjoy is he's just horny. He just wants to fuck a queen, and he doesn't care what queen it is, and he doesn't have the eye patch. He doesn't have the eye patch. Like,
that's fine.
Like, because that's like Euron Greyjoy in the show is a fuck pirate. Like, he's just a pirate that's out for the booty. And I appreciate that.
That's not his character. That's not his
character
from
that's
the book.
not Euron, because Euron in the books is like some dank, like capital dank pirate lord who's like been all throughout the world and has like collected trinkets and stuff to prove that he's been all around the world, and he's got like some weird mystical mojo in it.
He's obsessed with magic, just absolutely obsessed with magic. So much that his lips are blue because he keeps drinking Shade of the Evening to get prophetic visions.
Yeah. Like he's like, it's great. Like the Crow Eye Euron Greyjoy is so good in the books. Like, it's like when he's described in everything how he does to get the I think it was the King's Moot in the books. Like, all of it's so golden. And what his character is and what he plans to do and all the stuff that he has, like, the groundwork is there for really good stuff. And
he's willing to sacrifice his brothers.
He's like a magical dark pirate lord.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's hinted that it's like, no, he actually has some magic going on. Like, it's not just all show, he's got some magic going on.
It's very deeply expressed that he is an agent of chaos, to the point that he's put his brother in front of his ship.
Yes.
Well, strapped to
a bunch of people and put them on the front of his ships, including, I believe, his there was a Saul's wife that he knocked up, and then he killed her while she was still pregnant, carrying his child.
This isn't a chapter that George R. R. Martin read out loud at a screening. I can't remember where. So it is a spoiler for Winds of Winter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is it a spoiler anymore? Like, he's had long enough.
Like, you know, if that's what he wants to do, if that's how he'll just release the rest of the books by just going he just becomes like a mangaka, and it's like, oh yeah, these are the chapters, I'm releasing them weekly, or whenever I get around to it. It's like, here's the next chapter of the book, here's the next chapter of the book. If he just wants to go ahead and do that, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I can buy a subscription to that.
Yeah, because Barristan Selmy is dealing with a plague. Horrible plague coming into a city that he's taking care of, and we're left
grayscale,
like
grayscale.
Pale Mare for where Selmy's stuck.
And here's the thing: so Euron Greyjoy, he gets elected. He's elected by the people, but in reality, why did he get elected over Asha? Because Asha would have brought peace to the Iron Islands, right? And
because the Ironborn are stupid, and they just saw a bunch of gold shit, and they're like, wait. I'll bring dragons. Dragons!
You know what else is about cool shit, and you know what else is about swagger?
What? Mick Jagger?
Wrestling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's true. You won him over.
100% cool shit. It is 100% swagger, right? It is 100% everything that Asha lacked and everything that Euron Greyjoy had. It is
Euron Greyjoy. Euron Greyjoy is Blackbeard.
No, he's Chris Jericho.
He's got theatrics.
He's Chris Jericho.
Because that's the whole thing. Like Blackbeard, I love the stories of Blackbeard because it's like he wasn't even like a particularly ruthless pirate or anything like that. He just knew theatrics and he knew how to sell. He's a bard that decided to just go like, I'm just gonna be a pirate now.
Yep, there would be stories of him coming out with even little fireworks in his beard, little sparklers coming out of his beard.
Yeah,
when he comes
like with enough charisma, you can get anywhere. With enough charisma, you can sell anything. You can get anywhere.
Charisma is your go-to stat everywhere.
Yeah.
Euron Greyjoy had it, and even though Asha had a plan, Asha, Yara, whichever continuity we're talking about, even though she had a plan,
she was trying to appeal to reason.
Much like in the show, one thing she lacked was charisma, and sadly, to the Ironborn, the other thing she lacked was a penis.
Yes.
Like Game of Thrones wasn't subtle about that. Like he just grabbed his crotch and shook it around. And it's like, well, she ain't got a cock, so she can't be a king.
Okay, that was
and I'm like, oh,
was that in the chapter? Because I don't know. Because I haven't read it.
I'm pretty sure. Look, regardless of whether it was in the book or not, and I'm not remembering, I'm pretty sure Book Euron would have done it better.
Oh yeah, he did.
I'm pretty sure he did it better. Because Show Euron, it's just two different characters.
Just a little pirate fuck boy.
It's just a pirate fuck boy.
I remember I was going over this yesterday. He had he just came in at the last second. He's comes in with this guy with this blaring horn, and he's like, "Hey, this is what I bring you," a bunch of gold and crazy stuff. And then he's like, and this magic horn here is to get us dragons, and we're gonna take over everything. And I'm like, okay, that's a better sell.
That's a better sell.
That's a way better sell than saying I have a dick.
All right, I'm gonna give you economic stability, so that we don't need to keep robbing people, and not be poor. Because we're not allowed to rob people right now because society is advancing, and that's not something we can do anymore.
But I'm gonna get
Euron rolls in, and he's like,
dragons, salt lives, bitches, money, murder.
He's like, fuck social evolution. How about we just fully commit to being barbarians who just rob other people for everything, because working is for cowards, and we're just going to steal everything, and we're going to go back to the old days. We're going to make the Iron Islands great again. And all of the Iron Islanders...
Tom is making a MAGA speech. No. Is it what do you mean? It'd be Miga, right? It'd be Miga. Make the Iron Islands great again. Miga.
Yes, Miga.
Yes.
He changes the Greyjoy sigil into Miga.
Everyone's wearing Miga hats. Oh my god.
Instead of MAGA, it's Miga.
It's Miga. It's Miga shields. They just all have Miga shields.
That's the thing. When it comes to winning people over, at the end of the day, and this is how it kind of ties into the election, and this is how it ties into anything. At the end of the day, it's all show. At the end of the day, it's always entertainment. The person with the most swagger is going to get the most people behind them. Why? Because at our core, we're pretty dumb. Those are things that make us feel good.
We don't like to think.
To look at.
We're creatures of sensations.
Why wrestling is such a success, and that is exactly why
wrestling's not that much of a success.
It's going to be nothing but wrestling. We're going to have a full episode on wrestling, communication, and winning the hearts of our fellow Americans.
The Orange Cassidy way.
Yep, the Orange Cassidy way. Freshly squeezed every day.
I love that Erika has no idea about Orange Cassidy.
She does.
She's rolling with it.
She knows who he is.
She's rolling with it.
No, she knows who he is because I've sent her clips all the time. I keep calling him my spirit animal.
So I understand Orange Cassidy enough through the Instagram. So I've kept
it's mostly through the Twitter that I send her.
Yes.
But all right.
Yes. I can keep up with this.
It's like Orange Cassidy freshly squeezed every day, and I'm like, you're just rolling with it. You're doing the wrestling thing right now, which is, oh, you were wrong? No, I'm not wrong. We're gonna roll with it.
No, see, Dominic, Erika is our Chris Jericho. Erika is our Chris Jericho. She will roll with anything and make it better.
Yes, I am Chris Jericho, whoever the heck and hecker that is. I will roll with it. I will make it even better. And on that note, as your honorary Chris Jericho for this episode, I consider us closing out.
Break the walls down.
For next week. Give them something to want. All right, because that's showmanship. Peace out. This is Erika.
This is Dominic.
And this is Lenore.
And you've just been listening to literally nothing better to do, because if you got to the end of this podcast, that must have been the reality. Peace out.
Mic
Break
drop.
the walls down.
Break